Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing today? We're going to roar right in here. What a couple of days it's been, huh? It's been a while since I've been on. I had all this other stuff I was going to talk about, and then I don't know. Um, Something happened the other night, and it just like shifted everything to something completely different. So today, we're not going to make fun of Mama T. Um, Although I see she's back. She's been MIA for a few days, deleted what couple of lives she did do, and I see now she has one scheduled in 30 minutes. Yeah, bish. Mama T. I'm pretty sure she probably did that on purpose. She's just going to talk about Betty. No big deal. We're going to be talking about stuff that's a wee bit more important. Um, so I put up a post yesterday telling everyone, just come with a prepared heart because this sucks. It really sucks. But you guys will see how it all ties together. So let me say hello to everyone. Hello, Lisa Key. Hello, Tracy, Sarah, Trixie, Jimbo, Chaotic, Lenny J, TOG. Drive safe out there. Hey, Peachy. Kaz was in here earlier. Renee. Think I got everyone. Anyone not chatting, hello to all of you. I hope you are doing well. I hope everyone had an amazing Thanksgiving. I probably gained about 10 pounds. But it was good. Just chilling with the family. Mini-Me was out of school all last week. So baby squirrel is doing very, very well. Little Peanut. He's starting to actually look more like a squirrel now and not a rat. He's doing well. I'm attached to him. I'm going to hate to see him go. But my dogs are not conducive to having a pet squirrel. I have a lab and a pit and a little terrier who is actually her breed of dog. Their purpose was to track badgers. So she tracks everything, and it would just not end well. I do have a sniffle, a little cold. It's like 31 degrees here, which is unusual this time of year. So, yeah, fun times, fun times. So, the other night, my inhaler always comes in handy. But the other night, after a few day hiatus, Ernie graced us with his presence. He's in the hospital. It's been proven that he's in the hospital. I will go ahead and say, feel better soon, Ernie. Take care of yourself. I told you about those damn Mountain Dews months ago. Whatever it is going on with you, it's good to know he's not on the verge of death and he just has to have a colonoscopy tomorrow. And he's going to visit with the GI doctor today and all of that, yada, yada. So feel better soon, Ernie. Wish you well. But Ernie, you're probably going to hate me after this live stream, and that's okay. You can be mad because I have an opinion that differs from what you want. You can be mad that I question a few things. I will, however, put you on notice. This is your notice that you do not have my permission to share any of my personal information. If you were to ever get your hands on it, you do not have my permission to disseminate any photos of me or my children or put us in any type of danger with all your crazy hooligans you hang around with. If you try to retaliate against me for anything I say here today, I will do everything in my power to hold you 100% responsible. Because let's be honest, The only reason you would be coming at me is because you don't agree with something I say here today. Okay. So with that, we're going to get down to it. Um the other night I watched a movie called The Sound of Freedom. I don't know how many of you have seen it. Uh, brace yourselves when you watch it. It's a good movie. It was well done. It's not a big, huge budget movie. I'm not going to give away all the details, but it is a rescue story. It's like a docu-type movie. Um, it sets the scene with Homeland Security doing a sting operation. I don't want to tell too much, but they're doing a sting operation and they end up catching someone uploading pornographic material to the internet. And in that moment that he's uploading, they make an arrest. Throughout that process, that someone is Tim Ballard. His character in the movie gains the trust of this person that they arrested, and it leads to a bigger, more lucrative raid. Okay. It's a sting. So I'm going to tote back the tears, you guys. As I watched the movie and I saw everything unfold, and you really get a good glimpse into what these children suffer when they're just snatched out of everything that they know, their homes, their parents, their siblings, their schools. Is heartbreaking what they endure. And to give you a better idea, as of today, let's see. As of today, there are more humans trapped in slavery than any other time in history, including the time when slavery was legal. So, if that doesn't give you an idea of how broad the spectrum is and what a huge problem this is. And when the movie first starts, it's showing like clips from various surveillance cameras in multiple locations, and you see kids just literally being snatched up off the street. They could be alone or walking with another adult, and they just get snatched up. There was a clip of a woman who had fallen asleep, I guess, at like an airport or maybe a bus station or something. She had her infant sleeping next to her, and this guy was just sitting on the floor, and you see him look around and he just picks up the baby and walks away. So it's like, holy hell. But yeah, it's a real big problem, and I think that it's not taken quite as seriously as it should be. Unfortunately, the bad guys outnumber the good guys. It is not a field of work that should be taken lightly, because it can change you. The things that you have to go through. Hey, Queen Ashley, and everyone else who coming in. Oh, Benny Keys is here. What's up, Benny? I don't know anything about the cowbells. But it can definitely change you. It will take its toll on you emotionally, physically, psychologically. So it's not just for any Tom, Dick, or Harry to try to take on, right? It's a noble cause, but you really do have to be of a certain mindset to try to take it on. And We're going to talk about Operation Underground Railroad before the movie, and we're going to talk about some things that have come out since the movie. But as I was watching the movie the other night, it was shortly after Ernie had just done a live, letting everyone know he was in the hospital, and Nicolina was on panel, and she was talking to some Casey. I guess it's the Casey Inn or whatever who mods for Ernie. So Casey had asked the question. She was curious as to why everyone has given Ernie such a hard time. She was like, well, this is your life that people are messing with. And I'm just trying to understand why people don't like you or why people go against you so hard. I mean, that's the gist of it. She basically just wanted to know why people dislike Ernie. So when I heard her ask that question, naturally, my mind starts running through all the reasons of why I haven't really meshed well with him. And it's not because I think he's demon spawn or anything like that. It's just because of the things I've seen and heard and play out, right? Before a lot of us. I didn't know Ernie back in the Facebook days. I didn't know really anything about him until he did that first interview with Benny. And then, like, when that chick came up to the window and wanted a photo op, I was like, what the hell? That was the moment right there where I was like giving side eye and wondering, okay, what is this dude really doing? So I give him an A for effort because the cause that he chose to kind of make something out of himself, I guess, it is a noble cause. We need people to take this on, but what we need are people who have done more than just a 20-minute quiz online and who have done a little bit more than just showboat about it and film a couple of I'm not even going to call him busts because, we don't know who this dude is he met at the park. He could be a paid actor that they gave him $20 or something. I don't know. Um, but yeah, we need someone who's really going to get out there in the thick of it. And honestly, none of us on YouTube are equipped for that. There's so much training and it's a scary world when you start getting into these people who are bold and brazen enough to just snatch a child out of their mother's hand. They're walking down the street with mommy holding hands and a van pulls up and they just snatch the kid. Well, in the movie, it was a little bit different setup and it is a true story. Um, It's on Prime Video now to buy. I think I paid like $20 for it. But the way they set it up is, traffickers target, especially overseas in these other countries, they target the low income families with multiple children. They usually make promises of riches, They, like in this situation, the woman came to the house to speak to the father. I guess she knew that the guy had a little girl. She didn't know about the sibling, the little brother, the baby brother. And I'm not baby. He was like 7.5 in the movie. But you could just see the expression on her face change when she realized there were two children in the home. So that's what they do. And she went and she promised, this modeling career for this little girl. I'm not going to tell you what the dad did after that. It was a mistake that I would never make with my children. I don't think many of us would. But it turned into something bad. He ended up taking his children to an audition and then they were never seen again for a while. in the true story. And you can read about the story online, so I'm not really giving away anything that isn't already out there. But you can Google what The Sound of Freedom is based on, and it'll tell you the whole story. So this happened in Honduras. They take the children away. They get a fancy limo ride, and the next thing you know, they're being shoved into a boat and taken someplace completely different. There was probably about 20 children. What they went through after they got off that boat is something that a mother or a father never wants to imagine their children going through. And the thought of anyone hurting any of my children makes me physically ill to even think about it. And these kids were so strong and so brave, and they endured things that would probably make most of us crumble to our knees. And it doesn't just happen once or twice. It happens over and over and over again. That is all their life consists of. They are property now. They have to do what they're told. They are traded and sold and resold and exchanged and bartered out. It's just disgusting. So the movie, Tim Ballard was an agent with Homeland Security, and he wanted more time. He had inadvertently rescued this little boy. The little boy hands him a charm with his name on it, and he took it as a sign from God. He talked to his wife. Tim's wife encouraged him. The way he tells the story, he says, she told me to close my eyes and picture two paths. The one path is the cozy government job where everything is smooth sailing, you're secure, you have benefits, you're going to get a retirement package. The other path is you leaving that job and going into the unknown, but saving as many kids as you possibly can, despite what obstacles come your way. And so he said he closed his eyes and he pictured those two paths. And the one path was very scary. He didn't think he could do it. And he almost did it. And she told him, she said, no, now, before you close your eyes again and picture the two paths, I want you to really ask God, what he wants for you. Have him show you what needs to be done. And when he closed his eyes again, he still saw the two paths, and the one path was still scary, but God put something in his heart, letting him know that this was what he needed to do. That was his calling. That was the job he needed to do. And she told him to picture himself standing before our Lord and him asking Tim, was I clear in what I instructed you to do? And did you do it? Well, no one wants to be standing in front of God and saying, yeah, you were clear on what you wanted me to do, but I just didn't follow through. Because if you don't follow through, that means you don't put your faith where it needs to be. And so you're not pleasing him. So being that he is a Christian man of strong faith, he took the path of the unknown and he went all in. He quit his comfy job with the government. He was no longer an agent for Homeland Security. And he took the path of the unknown. He got himself in the thick of it, wearing fake tattoos, really playing the part to get in with these bad people who are out snatching and selling kids. Yes, Lisa, it is the biggest industry, and we're going to talk about some statistics in a few minutes to let you know exactly how big it is. So as this movie plays out, he rescues the baby brother first. Then he goes on this mission to find the older sister. So he saw the charm, the pendant necklace with his name on it as another sign from God that he needs to find this little girl. His wife said, quit your job now and go do it. So that's how he ended up kind of on, his own solo missions. He got a group of guys together that could fund it. They tracked this woman down who was going and promising these modeling careers to children. It led them to Cartagena. And eventually it led them to a rebel island, where law enforcement, nobody goes on that island. But Tim went deep undercover. He was taken to the island. In the end, he ended up saving the little girl too. And, that's kind of where the movie ended. Um, I encourage everyone to go watch it. If you can't buy it right now, just wait till it's available to rent or for free. I know that it was such a controversial movie that there were reports, I don't know how accurate there are, but there were people that reported that they would pay to go see the movie in theaters, and then halfway through it would stop playing and it would be a technical issue. I don't know. There was just all kinds of issues. Um, so naturally, when you have something that is trying to spread awareness of things that need to be known by the public, there's always an issue. We're not going to get into the whole conspiracy part of it. That's not what this is about. What this is about, Casey, to answer your question, for me, and this is for me only, this is my opinion. I don't expect everyone to share it. But Casey, when you ask what it is that make people question Ernie or not really care for him, for me, it is the fact that he took such a sensitive topic and basically made a mockery out of it. We're also going to look at some parallels between the O.U.R Foundation, which is Operation Underground Railroad, and a couple of organizations that we all know of. When you take these vigilante predator hunters, right? Of course, naturally, when they get any kind of pushback, what is their number one thing they say? Oh, well, you got to wonder why people are against this so bad, why they don't want us to talk. And people are automatically labeled a predator or things like that. That's not what it is. People want you to talk about it if you know what you're talking about it and if you're producing results at the same time. It's not about coming to YouTube every day and making all these outrageous claims that you're doing this and that, but you have nothing to show for it. So for me, what I don't like is the fact that you came to YouTube with all these great promises representing rescue our children, but not a one damn child has been saved. Not one child. Not then when he first came around, and not in the 2 years since then. And don't give me this excuse about it's all the trolls' fault. People destroyed your life. Buddy, you did this to yourself. You got yourself in trouble. You ran from your charges. And what ticks me off about you is now there are all these children out there who need help, and you aren't following through with what you said you were about. You let all those children down. It has nothing to do with if you're capable. We're going to completely take that out of the picture for right now. As a mother, I am pissed that you came around claiming that you could do something to save children, and you haven't done not one thing. Not one fucking thing. And there are children out there in our country and other countries that need people who are absolutely going to make the claim that they are going to do something to stop this crap from happening, who are actually going to get off their ass and do it and not use it to showboat or collect money or play on people's emotions. Let's talk about some numbers. Child trafficking is a $150 billion a year industry. The U.S. is the top destination for trafficked children, and the U.S. is the largest consumer for child sex crimes. There are more pervs in the U.S. who want to prey on children than anywhere else in the world. Let that sink in. You live in the U.S., Ernie. So why are you just making all these empty promises and not getting your shit together and going out there to do something about it? Oh, it's because all you have is a 20-minute certification. I don't care about your training with the defensive tactics. I don't care about who you know. I don't care about any of that. You throw all the rest of that garbage away, and let's just focus on the promise that you made, what you said you were about when you came to YouTube. And you dropped the ball. So that, Ernie Shell, is why I give you such a hard time. And watching that movie really put it into perspective for me. Because it was like, Casey asked that question about why people are so irritated with you. And then I watched that movie and it was like everything just came together for me. And it made me sick. It made me absolutely sick. The Philippines does have one of the highest numbers of children who are trafficked out of there. I mean, let's be honest. We've know about all the things that he was creating and doing and promising. We've seen the medallions, we've seen all this and that, the action figures, the signed posters. The t-shirts actually made it out. People got their t-shirts. But aside from that, there really hasn't been delivery on anything. And the trolls have done it crap, that doesn't fly. Because you know what? People out here who are actually doing things to make a difference are faced with adversity every single day. And you know what? They pick their shit up. They stop having a pity party for themselves. They say, screw the people who are against this. And they get out there and they fight twice as hard. And they do what they promised to do. They follow through. Because they're professionals. You guys were just making commercials and ads. That one news article, I'll have to find the link and repost it again on my community page. But that one article that you can find on Google that he probably wrote for himself, it says specifically he hopes to get a TV show one day. This is a game. This is a game that someone who has promised to go out there and rescue children has used to fund his lifestyle for the past 2 years. I don't know if you were taking those lightning tiger supplements or not, but you're laid up in a hospital, buddy. You're laid up in a hospital again, probably with impacted bowels. So you have to go get all this stuff done because you're pumping your body full of God knows what. You don't eat right. You don't have like a routine type lifestyle. You're basically wandering around aimlessly when you've made all these promises to do all this stuff. So, Ernie, how does it feel knowing that there are so many children out there that you have let down that you promised to be a part of a solution and you haven't. So you have to understand why people get pissed at you. You have to understand that. There's no give and take with you. It's all think how I think, agree with me, or I'm going to dox you. I'm going to have people watching you. I'm going to do this and that. This is a time to be serious. There are children's lives and futures that depend on it. And I am so sick of you guys using children as the basis for your head games. I'm sick of it. So, some more statistics: 365 million kids in the U.S. are trafficked yearly. Or, no, they're missing. 30% of those, which is approximately 109,000, are trafficked. California has the most prevalent presence of trafficking. 200,000 American kids are at risk of international trafficking. 17,000 people brought to the U.S. illegally or by means of trafficking. 28% are kids. That's about 13 kids a day who are brought into the U.S. as a result of trafficking from other countries. Do those kids matter to you, Ernie? Or do they only matter to you when it's time to run a cash app, or when you make this great promise you're going to go speak to someone here, or you're going to go be on a board here? I heard him say today, he was talking about his cowboy hat and all that. And he said, oh, the hat's coming back. And then, it led into, well, I tried to give it away once. The person told me to keep it and keep doing what I'm doing for these kids. And he said, well, it's coming back. ROC won't be under my name, but it's coming back. Oh, Lord. So is that meaning, hey, Renee, is that meaning that ROC is getting back together? He's getting together a new team and they're going to be out here rescuing kids again? Let's just say that he's not interested in doing stings or stings to actually catch the predators. Okay. Let's say it's more, he just wants to stay in the realm of like online activity and bust people that way. There is still a procedure that you're supposed to follow in order for it to be a fruitful endeavor. You don't just go home and sit on your computer and lure them in, meet them at a park, and then let them go. No, you don't have the authority to arrest anyone or anything like that. What you have the authority to do, though, is cross all your T's, dot all your I's, alert law enforcement of what you're doing beforehand so that they can have someone in place. You get all your evidence together, all your communication logs, all your transcripts, all nice and neat and in order, and it tells a complete story from beginning to end. Then maybe set up a meeting and try to get someone to actually make contact with you, with law enforcement aware of what's going on, because you guys out there doing it so haphazardly can really screw up an investigation. You have to make sure you have everything in order to get a prosecution. It's absurd to me. So, Casey, that's why everyone's so irritated, because it's a freaking sham. It's a ruse made to tug on people's heartstrings, not only to donate money, but to, help boost acceptance from other people. You got all these little tiglets running around. They'll bite your damn head off if you say one bad thing about Ernie or you question anything. I don't care. Bring it on, piglets. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You going to cuss me out in a chat? You going to make a funny little video about me, Laura? Y'all are already pissed off at Mama T about something. Lord knows, if y'all get mad enough at her, I can only imagine what deep, dark secrets of hers y'all are going to start spewing. Yeah, Nicolene, he knows all the laws. Here's the thing. You're not untouchable, Ernie. This legal crap will catch up with you. I've told you that before. Denny, God love him, has told you that before. We've all told you that. Because if all these people and all these connections that you have and know could do anything about it, it wouldn't still be sitting in the system as an active warrant. It would be wiped clean, swept under the rug. No big thing. So, yeah. Now, we're going to go over a few more numbers, and then we're going to talk about some parallels, because I'm not here to toot Operation Underground Railroad horn, because, like with any movie, if there's like an actor or an actress that I don't really know that well and I want to know more about them, I like Google their name, find other movies or whatever they've been in. If it's a documentary, I will try to find as much information as I can about it. So naturally, after I watched the movie, I Googled Tim Ballard again. Lordy, lordy. Let's just say that he, like many others, has fallen from grace. Around the beginning of September, reports started being filed. Reports from, let's see, one of them, and I'll post links for these interviews. I'll make a community post with links to everything I looked up. There was an ex-Marine who worked with Tim Ballard. She filed a report. There was a lady who worked closely with him as his therapist who traveled with him. She had to make herself available to him pretty much whenever he needed to talk about the horrors and the just unspeakable things that he had seen and dealt with during the stings. Because, right, he's not an agent anymore. He starts really doing these stings. So he can do things like drink with people or whatever he had to do to keep his undercover role locked in tight. So we had the social worker, the ex-Marine. There was a lady who basically worked as an assistant on his team. And all of these people traveled with him. They've gone to all these other countries and worked with other organizations to save children. Well, the ex-Marine, in her report, she spoke of Tim Ballard making unwanted advances towards her. There was talk of unsolicited pictures that were being sent to them. There, one woman used the word she had to deal with him molesting her. So basically, he had 7 reports filed against him for sexual harassment. And that's just the beginning of September of this year. So when I said that type of work can change a person, now I will say that he is innocent until proven guilty. because none of us really know what happened. It's all of this is just recently unfolding. So when I Googled his name, I expected to just see all the positive things that I saw when I looked him up a while back. But now it's all really being uncovered and being put out into the open. He has 9 children. Like I said earlier, 2 of those children were actually rescues from one of the rescue operations that they did. Let's see how many kids So after the rescue he did in Cartagena, he stayed in Colombia to work other tips that they uncovered during that rebel island raid. So in that period of time, he rescued 120 children and more than a dozen trafficking rings. He helped get legislation passed and, really did everything he could to build up Underground Railroad to go out here and save as many children as possible, which sounds like a really good thing, right? But, whenever you do something like that, that opens the door to temptation. You've got this money coming in, all these people want to help fund the cause. So that can lead to some dishonest things, kind of like what we've seen play out here. Lisa, I think that the reports could be to discredit him. However, when you listen to statements given by former law enforcement officers who had worked with him, his church denounced him. Yeah, it's a big mess. So, I mean, there's always that 50-50 chance that it's not true. He's completely innocent of all the accusations being made against him, and he really is this great guy. Um, who knows? Time will tell. But as an organization, as of today, Operation Underground Railroad has a score of 84% with a 3-star rating when it comes to nonprofit organizations that you should donate to. They're not high up on the list. Reason being, the organization has been criticized for its conduct during stings and accused of exaggerating claims regarding its work, meaning maybe they didn't really have 1,156 arrests. It was just an exaggeration. Yes, the other leaders of Underground Railroad admitted what he was doing. There's lots of statements from people out there that say that this is probably true. He has stepped down. He is no longer a CEO with the organization. That to me is very telling. Um, Former staffers have stated the group is rarely involved in actual rescues, and I have a story to go along with that. And claims of rescues have misled donors and public about what the group has done. Now, when you think of nonprofits, you think, the majority of the money is going to be put into, if it were me, I would take a very minimal salary. I would, live within my means and, just really want the bulk of the money going to doing the work. Well, in 2021, he made a annual salary of $355,000. Now, granted, he does have 9 kids, but those 9 kids can live pretty decent for that kind of money. In 2022, he brought home $546,548 for his salary. Now, when I read the part saying that they were rarely involved in actual rescues, the ex-Marine who filed the complaint against him also said that she suffered an injury during There's a video about it. I'll see if I can find the video. I haven't found it yet. Where it was an exercise. The public was kind of led to believe that it was an actual rescue. It was actually a training video. She suffered a head injury. Now, where part of her head and face, um, she now has a titanium plate and silicone building up that part of her face. So she's going after them for that as well. So that was not an actual rescue. It was a training video. So that's another one of the parallels that we see with Rescue Our Children and Underground Railroad. They're not out there really doing anything. They're out here talking a good game. They're out here garnering donations. They're out here making empty promises. And now everyone's wondering why everyone's so pissed off. Well, this is why. When you look at Tim Ballard in that movie, and I know it's a movie, they portray a character the way they want it to be portrayed, the way that, is going to draw people in. So he's this super sensitive guy who is just devastated and heartbroken over the horrors that he sees go on with these kids. I imagine that people who are in that line of work, you need a therapy session daily, because you can't unsee the things that you have to see. You can't forget all the pages of documents and videos and pieces of evidence that you had to look at in order to be able to get on the witness stand and secure a conviction. It never goes away. You never forget it. As just a adult with no children, that's hard enough. But then when you see all that stuff while you're out on these missions and out in the field, and then you go home and you look at your own children, the thoughts of what if, that's enough to break you right there. The victims claim he made all the women going on ops get a Brazilian wax. I did hear something about the waxing. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff. Yes, Adventures with Purpose is another one that has faced controversy. Unfortunately, I encourage anyone, if you're going to donate to a nonprofit, look into them, look at their statistics, look at where their money is actually going. Do I think he could have done the same job for less than 500? I mean, that's a $500,000 salary. And don't get me wrong, what he was doing when he was actually doing the job is amazing if you're really doing it. What Ernie claimed to be doing is an amazing thing if he were actually going to do it. Instead of sitting on YouTube worried about trolls and worried about what people are saying about you, you just don't typically see that from people who are legit and on the up and up, right? You don't see agents getting on YouTube having these verbal arguments with people. You don't see these real professional people putting other people in danger by plastering their address all over the internet. It's just freaking weird. And you don't see, it just doesn't work for me. Like, I'm not buying into the bullshit. I never have, I never am. Ernie cannot like me for it. The Tiglets cannot like me for it. I don't care. But I'm always going to support someone who is actually walking the walk, who is actually going to mean what they say and say what they mean. So when you look at the downfall of Underground Railroad, back in the day, Ernie used to do a lot of talking about Tim Ballard. He idolized him. He kind of almost wanted to be him. That was who he looked up to. And I thought that I had heard him say at one time that he had met him or he had worked with him or something. I don't know. If anyone else remembers anything like that, let me know. But yeah. So I don't know if Casey N is watching, but I think that's your answer in a nutshell. Now I can't tell anyone why people got aggravated with him on Facebook. I can tell you what I think. And I think it's the fact that on Facebook, it was the whole hockey mask and those type things that led into the predator hunting and all of that. So there's a history of things not being on the up and up. And you can sit there and you can say, oh, well, those wrestlers got paid. And yeah, they did. They got paid after you were made to pay them. You didn't pay them willingly like you were supposed to on the spot. It wasn't until someone told you, hey, you have to give them money, that anything was taken care of. Of course, everyone's going to do the right thing when they're told to do it after being caught not doing the right things. Yeah, you don't rescue some children and put others in danger. And what we mean by that, Ernie and the Tiglets, is when you're out here throwing people's home addresses around or requiring your mods to give identification and stupid things like that, you never know what children you're putting in danger. You never know if the person that lives at that address is a single mom, with young children and things like that. You just never know. You're the one, Mr. Shell, that told us how many pervs are online every day. And you're out here just throwing people's personal information around? That's just freaking nuts. How can you say that you're doing anything to help or save the children when you're doing something as careless as that? Surely people are no, Ernie is full of it. Surely they don't believe a word. Unfortunately, Selena, there are a lot of people that really hang on to every word he says and believes all of it. I mean, look at what just happened with the whole Jayla situation. Um, it's been proven. Everyone's played clips that Mama T even said back then when the whole mattresses situation took place that Jayla wasn't on the up and up. And then lo and behold, she pops back up as Vanessa. Well, Mama T calls her out for it, does that whole lie, that whole song and dance about what have you done, Vanessa? Completely realizing that Janessa, went on Smiley's panel and used the same recycled story to try to get money from them. Okay? If your house is burning down every year and you have to bum money from people, it's time to get a job and maybe not light so many candles in your house. So, but that I'm not going to give another who they mismanaged or misspent money for food when it was supposed to go for something else because she was doing it for her children. And he always said, protect the women and children at all costs. Well, do you protect them at the cost of not lying so much? Do you protect them at the cost? Hold on. Can you hear me now? Is it okay now? Is that better? Someone let me know. No. How about now? Is that better? I'm just using the mic on my phone. Is that any better? Hold on. Okay, hang on. What about no? No, my mic didn't come unplugged. I'm on my phone. Is it still not good? Is it really low? Hold on. I don't know. No, I didn't press the button. Um, is that better? I refreshed it. So I don't know what to do. Oh my goodness. Can you guys hear me at all? Even if I have to talk louder? Okay, so if I talk louder, can you guys hear me? I might just go ahead and end and then pick up tomorrow and do a part two when I can figure out what's going on. Or I can keep going and you guys can somewhat hear. Okay. I tell you what. Oh, is that better? Because my little thing just. I don't know. Oh, yay, it's fixed. Okay. So, what I was saying is. Crap, I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh, I was talking about how all his little tiglets, like they hang on to every word that he says. And the thing with Jayla, Mama T had called her out. Ernie got mad. And so it was like, how can you say that you're out here fighting for the good of the people or you're fighting to keep the community safe? You're exposing all these bad people and what they're doing and this and that when you're not going to hold Janessa accountable. I mean, we know it was her that was on Smiley's panel. She admitted it. So why are you not holding her feet to the fire and being a good friend to her and saying, look, this isn't cool. If you need help, let's be honest and we'll try to find ways to get you help. But no, you people aren't interested in that. You're not interested in doing things the ethical way or the right way. You're interested in doing things the quick and easy way. And that's not right. You can't say in one breath, A, B, and C people are, they're horrible because they just prey on people and they're predators and they take advantage and they're scammers while you let all your own people just go out here and run amok and do whatever they want. And it's the same people doing the same scams over and over and over again. But I'll be damned if anyone like me can say anything about it. I don't mess with anybody. But if I even say one thing against anything that y'all do, then I'm the devil. Well, I'll be the devil then, because for every time you try to expose someone who isn't doing anything wrong and claim that they're some scumbag, I'm going to expose you guys for doing what you really do wrong. Because this is bullshit. Enough's enough. If you're going to rescue children, get your shit together. Go handle your legal problems. Get the proper training. Get your ass out there and do something to help save some children. Don't sit on YouTube the whole time talking about all the things you're going to do and then never do it. And if you're not physically fit or medically able to do those things, then pass the torch to someone who can. Because these children's lives depend on it. Nobody can save them all. Unfortunately, that is the sad reality and the state of the world that we live in. Children, human beings, are a commodity now. They can become property in the blink of an eye. None of us ever bring our babies home from the hospital and envision a life of slavery for them. But the reality is that every time we leave our homes and go out into public with one of our children, it could happen in the blink of an eye. And that is scary shit. So if you're going to be up here talking about saving children, get off your ass and do it. That's really all it boils down to. What is it that Mama T always says? Don't talk about it, be about it. Be about it. Forget your medallions, forget your action figures and your signed posters and your lightning tiger formula. Forget all that shit. Because none of that matters when you look at the original promise. That oath that you claim to have taken impressed me by following through with that. You guys are out here trying to fight all the stuff that you say is not true. Everyone's just out here lying about you, saying all this stuff about you, ruining your life. The way you fight untruths is with the truth. So if you want to fight anyone saying that you're lying when you're saying you're doing all this stuff, you know how you fight it? You fight it by getting off your butt and actually doing the stuff that you claim to be doing. No one cares about your Warner Brothers contract. Big deal. I don't care that you already did work for them in 2000 whatever for a video game. What kind of contract do you have right now? What are you about to do for Warner Brothers? Is it a movie? Is it a video game? What is it? Tell us more. Your whole life is so freaking cryptic that nobody can believe a word you say. I bet even your little Tiglets, your closest confidants, don't even know the truth about what's going on in your life right now. Maybe that's your shtick. Maybe it's to live secretive and, be the man of mystery. Well, don't do it on the back of children's or on children's backs. Don't do that. Pick anything else that you want to be a superhero about and use that, but quit using children. Because as a mom, I want a real hero. I want someone who is going to come and look out for the best interests of these children. Love you, Lily. Speaking of Lily, I never do this. I never say anyone put anything in my Cash App. I do run it at the bottom of my screen. If you guys are interested in anything I had to say today, every dollar, even if it's just $1, if you send it to me, I am going to send it to help a friend of my good friends who is going through some hard times, a single father, just anything and everything that could go wrong. It's just piling one thing on top of the other, but any and all donations that I get will be going to help this family in need. It is the holidays. If anyone has anything that they can spare, it just might make these children's Christmas a little brighter. Um, so yeah, and that will be happening all through the end of this year. Any money I take in will go directly to help this family. So if you can't help today, if you can help tomorrow or the next day, every dollar helps. Yes. Okay, so Birdie's Crime Chat just shared information on Underground Railroad the other day. So everyone go over there and check that out. If a mod could drop the channel link so everyone can go over there. Mod, you can always drop any links that you want to in the chat. Any creators, it's fine by me. I believe in supporting each other, even if you're not bestest friends. Y'all could even drop Manet's link in my chat and I wouldn't care. So, yeah, I did good. I didn't cry as much as I thought I would. I do encourage everyone to watch that movie. If I thought it would work, I would try to do a watch party for it, but I don't know if I can pull that off. So, yeah, maybe word will get back to KCN that I somewhat answered her question. Of course, she directed the question towards Nicolina. I can't answer for her. That's why I stressed that this was my opinion and my opinion only. Yeah. It's horrible that children are having to go through this. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine the torture and the heartbreak that these parents go through. You know, it used to be, and this isn't any better, but it used to be that when your child went missing or, something like that, the worst fear was that they were going to be found deceased. Now it's the fact that if you have a missing child or even, adults, young adults, it's not just children who are put into slavery. Teenagers, same thing. Young women, young men, it knows no age limit, no boundaries whatsoever. But now the worst thing you have to worry about when you have a loved one missing who cannot be found anywhere, um, chances are very high that they have just been sold into slavery and they're in the country living hell on earth day after day. I can't imagine the struggles that victims go through just trying to pull their life back together. I mean, you think it breaks a parent or breaks family members of the victim? Imagine what it does to the victim itself. The therapy that they need, not only the mental and emotional pain, but the physical pain, the torture. I mean, they're beaten, they're mistreated, they're fed very little. They're given like hand-me-down clothes, I mean, it's just awful. It's it's bad. And, I'm if all of these things that have been said about Tim Ballard are 100% accurate, I'm just as pissed off at him. He had a good thing going, something that would have done amazing work for these children because he did it once successfully. He saved 120 children in Colombia. But, when you do work like that, you have an angel on one shoulder and you have the devil on the other. More often than not, the devil wins if you're not, strong-minded and strong-willed. You give in to temptation. That's just part of being human. But if you're going to donate to any of these nonprofits who claim to do this type of work, please do your homework on them. I will do some homework myself and I'll come up with a list and rank all of the nonprofits who work with child trafficking and let you guys know some of the best ones you can give to. But I'm assuming that, someone else went live. I know Mama T went live. I'm going to go over there and sit in the bushes. Oh, she hates me. I don't care. I haven't done anything to her. She still has not taken Nicolina up on her offer. Nicolina said that she would go to Yanni's Native American community the minute that Mama T came up on my panel. And Mama T, I don't want you on my panel to berate you or talk down to you. You asked me for my opinion, so I invited you on my panel so I could have a conversation with you about my opinion and not try to do it in the chat where all your mods just treat me like crap. Let's have a two-way adult conversation. It's not that complicated. Tiger down. Uh-oh. So something happened? What does that mean? I see one comment that says Nick found Ernie, and then I see Tiger down. Oh my gosh, did something happen? What? Y'all, and I don't wish him any ill will. I just think he needs to get his crap together and, live his fullest potential. I think everyone needs to, live to their fullest potential. Oh, he's in the hospital where Smokey is. Oh. Oh no. Okay, is Nick live right now? Okay, everyone's leaving here, so wherever someone is live, you guys go over there. I don't know who's live right now. Okay, so everyone go over to Nicolina's and tell her that I made y'all go over there. So I will see all of you over there. Thank you for being here and listening to everything we went over today. I'm sure that I will come up with some other stuff to talk about because I'm still going to dig a little about all this Underground Railroad stuff. And we'll do it all again. Until then, be safe, be kind to each other, hug your loved ones. You never know if tomorrow is going to come. And I am wishing all of you a very safe and happy holiday season. And I will see you all soon. So go to Nicolina's. Bye.